When disaster strikes, whether it's a blackout, a storm, or a sudden food shortage, your survival kit is supposed to be your lifeline. But here's the harsh truth. Most emergency kits are packed with gear that looks like it'll save the day, but in reality is nothing more than dead weight or worse, downright dangerous. Imagine being in a life or death situation, only to find that the tools you're counting on leave you colder, thirstier, and more vulnerable than if you had nothing at all. It's a terrifying thought, but it's one you need to face now before it's too late. In this video, I'm going to expose the 7 so-called survival essentials that are not only useless but could actually put your life at risk. These are the items you should never trust in a crisis. But don't worry, I'm not just here to tear down bad gear. I'll also reveal 2 game-changing upgrades that have been proven to save lives when everything else fails. These are the tools you'll want by your side when the stakes are at their highest. Let's start with the first life-saving gadget that's more likely to fail you the moment you need it most. 7 wire saws, the survival tool that fails when you need it most. Mark Thompson learned a hard lesson about wire saws during what was supposed to be a relaxing weekend camping trip in Oregon's Cascade Mountains. A sudden landslide blocked his exit route, turning a casual outing into a survival scenario. When he reached for his wire saw marketed as a cuts-through-anything miracle tool, it lasted exactly 3 pulls before snapping. The cruel irony: he had left his grandfather's reliable folding saw at home to save weight. Wire saws are one of the most misleading pieces of survival gear on the market. At first glance, they seem like a genius invention. Lightweight, compact, and often advertised as capable of cutting through wood, bone, and even metal. They're a tempting addition to any emergency kit. Marketing materials show them slicing through thick logs with ease, but the reality is far less impressive. Field tests consistently reveal that wire saws fail catastrophically under real-world conditions. The thin metal wire quickly clogs with sawdust, jamming the cutting surface and creating friction that dulls the wire almost immediately. Worse, debris often gets stuck between the wire's segments, making it nearly impossible to continue cutting. And then there's the ultimate failure: the wire snapping without warning, often when you're applying maximum force in an awkward position. Professional survival instructor Craig Caudill has tested dozens of wire saws over his 4 decades of wilderness training. His verdict? Wire saws are a gimmick. They trade real functionality for the illusion of convenience. In survival scenarios, you don't need clean, precise cuts for shelter building, fire preparation, or trap construction. And when you do need precision, a proper knife or saw is far more reliable. The alternative is simple and affordable. A quality folding saw like the Bako Laplander or Silky Gomboy costs only slightly more, weighs about the same, and delivers consistent, efficient cuts through wood up to 6 inches thick. These tools feature hinged blades that lock securely, aggressive teeth that clear debris as you cut, and ergonomic handles that provide proper leverage. Most importantly, they work when your life depends on them. The bottom line: wire saws are a dangerous false promise. They look good on paper but fail miserably in practice. In a survival situation, that failure could cost you everything. 6 cheap multi-tools. The illusion of preparedness. Sarah Jenkins thought she was prepared for anything when she picked up a $50 multi-tool at her local camping store. With 23 functions packed into one compact device: pliers, knife, saw, scissors, screwdrivers, can opener. It seemed like the perfect companion for her solo backpacking trip through Montana's Glacier National Park. But 3 days into her journey, reality hit hard. While trying to open a can of beans for dinner, the can opener blade snapped clean off. She spent the next 40 minutes prying the can open with a rock. Cheap multi-tools are a classic example of too good to be true. On the surface, they seem like the ultimate survival solution. One device that can handle multiple essential tasks. But the problem isn't the concept. It's the execution. Budget multi-tools sacrifice quality for quantity, cramming as many features as possible into a low-cost package. The result? Tools that look impressive but fail miserably under stress. Here's the harsh truth: a quality knife alone costs $30 to $50 to manufacture properly. When a multi-tool with 10 or 15 functions is priced at $50, each component receives less than $5 worth of development and materials. The outcome is predictable: blades that won't hold an edge, pliers that bend under pressure, and saws that bind or break on the first serious cut. Survival experts who've tested hundreds of multi-tools report that cheap versions typically fail within the first 30 days of real use. The most common failure points include dull knife edges, flimsy pliers, and poorly designed saw blades. But the real danger lies in the false sense of security these tools create. Carrying a multi-tool can make you feel prepared for any scenario. When it fails, you're not just without the specific function you needed, you're also without the backup tools you didn't bring because you thought the multi-tool had you covered. The solution? Invest in a high-quality multi-tool from a trusted brand like Leatherman or Victorinox. Yes, they're more expensive, but they're built to last and won't let you down when it matters most. In survival situations, reliability isn't optional, it's essential. 5 generic first aid kits. Medical security theater. Tom Rodriguez thought he was prepared for anything when he tucked a bright red emergency first aid kit behind the seat of his truck. But when a rollover accident left him with a compound fracture and arterial bleeding, the kit's contents were a cruel joke. Inside he found a dozen tiny bandages, a few dried out antiseptic wipes and medications that had expired years ago. None of it was remotely useful for the life-threatening injuries he faced. Generic first aid kits are one of the most dangerous illusions in preparedness planning. These brightly colored boxes promise comprehensive medical coverage but deliver little more than false confidence. Most are designed to look impressive on store shelves, not to handle real emergencies. The typical contents of a generic first aid kit reveal the problem immediately. You'll find 20 tiny adhesive bandages, a couple of aspirin packets, a roll of medical tape and maybe a pair of tweezers. While this might be enough to handle minor cuts and headaches, it's completely inadequate for traumatic injuries, severe bleeding or any medical emergency where seconds matter. The issue lies in the manufacturing priorities. Generic kit producers focus on including a wide variety of items to check as many boxes as possible while keeping costs low. The result is a collection of mostly useless supplies. You might get butterfly closures but no pressure dressings, tiny bandages but no tourniquet, and antiseptic wipes but no emergency medications. Building an effective first aid kit requires an honest assessment of the risks you're likely to face. A car-based kit should prioritize trauma supplies for vehicle accidents, while a wilderness kit needs to address potential injuries like fractures, burns, and severe bleeding. One-size-fits-all kits simply don't work. The hard truth is that generic first aid kits are medical security theater. They make you feel prepared without actually providing the tools you need to handle a real emergency. If you're serious about preparedness, invest in a custom-built kit tailored to your specific needs. It could mean the difference between life and death. 4 hand crank survival radios. A workout you don't need in a crisis. When a storm knocked out power, cell service and roads in Rebecca Martinez's neighborhood, she thought her hand crank emergency radio would be her lifeline. Instead, it became a source of frustration and exhaustion. After cranking the handle for 10 minutes, she managed to get just 30 seconds of static-filled reception. By morning, her arms ached from hours of cranking, and the radio had completely stopped working. The internal components had failed under the mechanical stress. Hand crank radios are often marketed as the ultimate survival tool, offering unlimited power through human effort. The idea of energy independence, no batteries required, sounds perfect for emergency situations. But the reality is far less impressive. These devices demand enormous physical effort for minimal functionality, and their design flaws make them unreliable when you need them most. The problem starts with the physics. Radios require steady, regulated power to function properly, but hand crank generators produce wildly variable voltage. This inconsistency can damage the radio's sensitive electronics. While some models include voltage regulators to address this issue, these components add complexity, weight, and additional failure points. Then there's the issue of efficiency. The human body converts food into mechanical energy at about 20% efficiency, and hand crank generators convert mechanical energy into electrical power at another 20%. That means only 4% of the calories you burn cranking the handle are turned into usable radio power. You'll expend a massive amount of energy for very little return. In a survival situation, reliable information is critical. You need to monitor emergency broadcasts while performing other tasks, but hand crank radios require constant physical effort to stay powered. The moment you stop cranking, the radio dies. This makes them impractical for real-world emergencies. A better alternative is a standard AM/FM radio powered by lithium batteries. These radios are lighter, cheaper, and far more reliable. Properly stored batteries can hold a charge for years, providing months of operation without the need for constant maintenance. No cranking, no mechanical complexity, and no wasted energy. The bottom line, hand crank radios are a gimmick that sounds good in theory but fails in practice. In a crisis, you need tools that work without exhausting you. 3. Reflective emergency blankets. Shiny, noisy, and ineffective. David Park thought he was prepared for freezing temperatures when he wrapped himself in a shiny emergency blanket. But instead of staying warm, he found himself colder and wetter than before. The crinkling mylar material made it impossible to sleep, and condensation from his body heat soaked his clothes, accelerating heat loss. What was supposed to be a life-saving device turned into a liability. Emergency blankets, often called space blankets, are marketed as ultra-lightweight thermal protection that reflects up to 90% of body heat. Originally developed for NASA, they're a staple in many survival kits. But while they look impressive, their real-world performance leaves much to be desired. The problem lies in their design. Emergency blankets block evaporation, radiation, and convection, the three ways your body regulates temperature. This creates a sealed environment where moisture quickly accumulates. Within minutes, condensation begins to form inside the blanket, soaking your clothing and skin. Wet clothing accelerates heat loss through evaporation and conduction, making you colder than you were before. The noise is another issue. The crinkling sound of the mylar material can be loud enough to attract predators or alert others to your location when you're trying to stay hidden. It also makes it nearly impossible to sleep, which is critical for maintaining energy and focus in a survival situation. While emergency blankets can be useful in specific scenarios like signaling rescuers with their reflective surface or providing short-term hypothermia prevention, they're not a reliable solution for staying warm. Superior alternatives include wool blankets, which provide consistent warmth even when wet, and modern synthetic materials like Polartec fleece, which offer excellent thermal protection without the drawbacks of mylar. The irony of space blankets is that technology designed for the vacuum of space performs poorly in Earth's atmospheric conditions. Moisture, wind, and durability are critical factors in survival, and emergency blankets fail on all counts. 2. Cheap survival flashlights. Darkness is deadlier than you think. Lisa Chen learned the hard way that not all flashlights are created equal. During a winter power outage, her tactical flashlight flickered once and died just as she was reaching for supplies in her dark basement. The impact-resistant housing had cracked, moisture had seeped into the electronics, and the LED array had failed completely. She spent the next 6 hours navigating by candlelight, creating fire hazards with every step. Cheap survival flashlights are one of the most deceptive pieces of gear on the market. They promise military-grade reliability at consumer prices, but what they actually deliver is catastrophic failure when you need them most. The manufacturing compromises are obvious upon closer inspection. Premium LED flashlights require precise electronics to regulate current, prevent overheating, and maximize battery life. Budget versions skip these components, allowing LEDs to burn at excessive voltage until they fail prematurely. The result? Bright initial performance followed by rapid degradation. Battery management is another critical flaw. Quality flashlights include circuitry that prevents over-discharge, extends battery life, and provides consistent output as batteries weaken. Cheap flashlights, on the other hand, draw maximum current until the batteries die suddenly, leaving you without warning. In survival situations, light is more than a convenience, it's a necessity. Darkness increases the risk of falls, fires, and poor decision-making. Emergency responders rely on premium flashlights from brands like Surefire, Streamlight, and Phoenix for a reason. These lights are engineered for mission-critical reliability, providing years of dependable service in harsh conditions. The lesson here is simple. Your flashlight is not the place to economize. A high-quality flashlight may cost more upfront, but it's an investment in your safety. When the power goes out, when you're navigating a flooded basement, or when you're evacuating in the dark, you need a light source you can trust. When cheap plastic water bottles, a recipe for disaster. Michael Roberts thought he was prepared for Hurricane Laura when he opened his emergency water supply, but what he found was a disaster waiting to happen. The cheap plastic bottles he had stored in his garage had absorbed petroleum vapors from nearby gasoline containers, making the water taste like diesel fuel. Worse, 6 of the 12 bottles had split along stress lines, leaving his family with less than 2 gallons of contaminated water. Cheap plastic water bottles are one of the most dangerous false economies in emergency preparedness. They promise convenient, affordable water storage but deliver contaminated, unreliable hydration when clean water is most critical. The problem starts with the materials. Cheap bottles are made from thin polyethylene terephthalate, PT plastic, which degrades rapidly under storage conditions. Temperature fluctuations, hot days and cool nights cause the plastic to expand and contract, creating stress lines that eventually lead to leaks. These failures often occur without warning, leaving you with a mess instead of a reliable water supply. Contamination is another major issue. PT PET plastic is porous, allowing chemicals and odors to seep into the water over time. Even if the bottles don't leak, the water can become undrinkable within months. Bacterial growth is also a concern, especially if the bottles are stored in less than ideal conditions. The solution is to invest in food-grade, high-density polyethylene (HDPE) containers designed for long-term water storage. These containers are opaque to prevent algae growth, chemically resistant to environmental contamination, and thick enough to withstand temperature cycling without failure. While they cost more upfront, they provide years of reliable service and peace of mind. Water is the most critical resource in any survival situation. Dehydration can set in quickly, impairing your judgment and physical performance. Don't gamble with your water supply by relying on cheap plastic bottles. While we've highlighted 7 survival items you should steer clear of, effective preparation isn't just about avoiding the bad, it's about choosing the good. Let's dive into the 2 essential tools that have proven time and again to save lives when everything else falls apart. Essential item number 2, premium water filtration systems, the lifeline for clean water. When it comes to survival, access to clean water is non-negotiable. It's the single most critical factor that determines whether you make it through a crisis. While cheap plastic water bottles and unreliable storage solutions fail catastrophically, a professional-grade water filtration system can be the game changer that ensures your survival. These systems are designed to provide safe drinking water from virtually any source, bridging the gap between life-threatening scarcity and reliable hydration. One of the most trusted names in water filtration is the Sawyer .1 filter, a compact yet powerful device that sets the gold standard for emergency preparedness. This filter removes 99.999% of bacteria and 99.9% of protozoa, including harmful pathogens like Giardia and Cryptosporidium. What makes it stand out is its use of hollow fiber membrane technology, which eliminates the need for chemicals, batteries, or moving parts components that are prone to failure in high-stress situations. Durability is where the Sawyer .1 truly shines. This filter is built to last, capable of purifying up to 100,000 gallons of water. To put that into perspective, that's enough clean water to sustain a family of 4 for over 20 years. It's also designed to withstand the harshest conditions, from freezing temperatures to physical impacts, without compromising its performance. Unlike pump filters that require constant maintenance and replacement parts, the Sawyer .1 is virtually maintenance-free. Its backflush cleaning system restores full functionality in seconds, ensuring consistent performance even with heavily contaminated water. Field tests and user reviews consistently highlight the reliability of this filter. Whether it's being used in remote wilderness settings or during urban disasters, the Sawyer .1 delivers clean, drinkable water without fail. At just 2 ounces, it's incredibly lightweight and compact, making it an ideal addition to any emergency kit. Despite its small size, it offers the same capabilities as larger, bulkier systems, proving that good things really do come in small packages. From a cost perspective, the Sawyer .1 is a no-brainer. Priced at under $60, it provides decades of reliable service. Compare that to the thousands of dollars you'd spend on bottled water over the same period, not to mention the storage space and contamination risks associated with plastic bottles. While filtration is essential, it's only half the equation. Pairing a premium filter with high-quality water storage solutions ensures you're prepared for any situation, whether you need immediate access to clean water or a long-term supply. In a crisis, clean water isn't just a convenience, it's survival. A premium water filtration system like the Sawyer .1 isn't just an upgrade, it's a lifeline. Essential item number 1, professional multi-tool systems, your all-in-one survival partner. When everything else fails, when rescue is days away, infrastructure has collapsed, and you're left to fend for yourself, a professional-grade multi-tool can mean the difference between helplessness and self-reliance. But not all multi-tools are created equal. Cheap, feature-packed models often sacrifice quality for quantity, leaving you with tools that fail when you need them most. That's why investing in a premium multi-tool like the Leatherman Wave Plus is one of the smartest decisions you can make for your survival kit. The Leatherman Wave Plus is the result of decades of engineering refinement, designed to meet the demands of professionals and survivalists alike. Unlike budget options that cram as many features as possible into a flimsy package, the Wave Plus focuses on delivering 17 high-quality tools that are genuinely useful. Each component is engineered to perform reliably under stress, making it a trusted companion in life or death situations. Let's start with the pliers, a cornerstone of any multi-tool. The Wave Plus features full-size pliers with replaceable wire cutters, capable of handling everything from electrical repairs to heavy-duty equipment modifications. The jaws grip securely without slipping, and the pivot mechanism operates smoothly even under significant load. These aren't just pliers, they're professional-grade implements designed to get the job done. The knife blades are another standout feature. The Wave Plus includes both straight and serrated blades made from high-carbon stainless steel. These blades hold a razor-sharp edge through extended use, and the locking mechanisms ensure they stay securely in place during operation. Whether you're cutting rope, preparing food, or crafting tools, these blades won't let you down. What sets the Wave Plus apart is its attention to detail. It includes specialized tools like large and small bit drivers, scissors, a saw, a file, an awl, and even a ruler. Each tool is designed to perform its specific function exceptionally well rather than just adequately. This level of precision makes the Wave Plus a versatile solution for a wide range of tasks, from repairs and construction to survival and self-defense. The user-friendly design is another reason why the Wave Plus is a top choice for survivalists. Tools can be deployed one-handed using thumb-accessible mechanisms, a critical feature when you're working under stress or with limited mobility. The handles are ergonomically designed to provide a secure grip, even in wet or cold conditions. These seemingly minor details make a world of difference when you're trying to perform complex tasks in challenging environments. The true value of a professional multi-tool lies in its problem-solving capability. Survival scenarios are unpredictable, often requiring improvised solutions to unexpected challenges. A high-quality multi-tool gives you the flexibility to adapt, repair, and overcome obstacles that would otherwise leave you stranded. It's not just a tool, it's a survival partner that empowers you to take control of your situation. At the end of the day, survival is about capability, not comfort. The Leatherman Wave Plus embodies this principle, offering a reliable, versatile, and durable solution for any crisis. When everything else fails, this is the tool you'll be glad to have by your side. In the world of survival, preparation is everything. The wrong tools can leave you stranded, vulnerable, and worse off than if you had nothing at all. From wire saws that snap under pressure to cheap multi-tools that fail when you need them most, we've uncovered 7 so-called essentials that are more of a liability than a lifeline. These items promise convenience but deliver frustration, and in a crisis, that's a risk you can't afford to take. But survival isn't just about avoiding bad gear, it's about choosing the right tools that will truly make a difference. A premium water filtration system ensures access to clean, life-saving hydration, while a professional-grade multi-tool equips you with the versatility and reliability to adapt to any challenge. These 2 items aren't just upgrades, they're game changers that can mean the difference between survival and disaster. When the next crisis hits, don't let false promises and flashy marketing leave you unprepared. Invest in tools that work, plan for the unexpected, and remember, survival starts with the right knowledge and the right gear. Stay safe, stay prepared, and stay ready for whatever comes your way.